Hey there kids, welcome to another math video for Eureka Math grade 5. This is lesson 13 in module 1 and it's the homework. And again, I highly recommend, I've been doing it on all the videos, please go watch the problem set video first, the one on my Mrs. Setness channel. It's very, very helpful. Like I even watch them myself because when I'm reteaching this year after year, like I'll forget stuff in a year's time. And I'm like, oh yeah, oh, that's a good one. So anyway, it really is a good problem set video. Go watch that before you try this homework. Also then do the homework before you watch this video so that you can kind of check with the video afterwards after you have given it a try. So this is supposed to be your kind of assessment of how much you know. So let's get into it and see what you know. The objective here is to divide decimals by single-digit whole numbers involving easily identifiable multiples. This is all in the bottom. I'm just reading right off the bottom. Using place value understanding and relate to a written method. So what it really is using what I'll say in the future is compatible numbers so that you can find little facts in a fact family. And fact families are something you've been doing since 3rd grade because I taught 3rd grade for 9 years. So I remember covering those and it's like, oh my gosh, it's such a helpful way to make a connection between say 3 and 15 because you're just looking for the missing number. So that's what we're doing here. So we're going to complete the sentences with the correct number of units. So we're using unit form. Here are those words that make unit form. And then we're going to complete the equation, which is over here on this side. Notice that the numbers are all connected. So A is all about 3 groups of how many tenths that would make 15 tenths. Notice that I'm saying it in unit form. And then 15 tenths divided by 3 equals what? So we're trying to find what's missing, and then we're really just putting together this fact family. So if I have 3 groups of how many tenths, that would make 15 tenths. So it's like I'm dividing, like I will over here. If I was going to create the tenths place, and I have 3 groups of how many, then how could I get 15? And you might say, oh, well, if I had 5 3 times, that would make 15 tenths. So it's 3 groups of 5, and it's like you're multiplying 3 times 5 to get the 15. So this is all how we do this. The multiplication and division are like, they're like buddies. They're like best friends, and one does this and the other does the opposite. So 15 tenths, then to undo the 5 tenths, 15 tenths divided by 3, we would get the 5 tenths. So we're using this answer here, and we're going to put it in standard form over here. And that's how you do it. So it's really not complicated. Once we get going, watch for the pattern. I will not be using place value charts on any of these. You can use them if it helps you. 6 groups of how many hundredths is 24 hundredths? Again, looking at the 24 and how many groups of 6, or 6 groups of how many. So 6 times what is 24? The word label's already there. 4 is your 4 hundredths. Now look again, 4 hundredths is our answer over here because I'm taking this 24 hundredths, dividing it into the 6 groups, and that would give me the 4 hundredths. Okay, I hope you're coming along. Watch for the patterns. That a lot of this math is just noticing the pattern. 5 groups of how many thousandths is 45 thousandths, finishing in the thousandths place. We're all dealing with thousandths. We know that 5 times something equals 45. What is it? It's 9. Now we're going to have the 9 thousandths in standard form over here. 0.009, 9 in the thousandths place. 45 thousandths divided by 5 is 9 thousandths. One of the other things I'm going to say in unit form is 45 thousandths divided by 5 ones is 9 thousandths. It helps you identify those place value positions. Let's go into number 2. Complete the number sentence. Express the quotient in units first and then in standard form. This is when it kind of gets crazy, so watch out for the equals. Watch out for the pluses. Watch out for when you actually have to do the calculation. So this being divided by 3, and and then just watching for those will help you solve and get these right. First of all, we're going to take 9 ones and 36 hundredths. We're going to take it apart into manageable pieces by place value position. So how many ones are there? Separated out, 9. Then don't do the division yet. We'll get to that in a minute. When they take the 9 ones, included with that plus is the 0.36, or how many hundredths. The 6 is in the hundredths, so we need all 36 hundredths to go together. These two problems are now what we're going to solve for these two blanks here. So this one is a 9 divided by 3, and it's still ones. So that's 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then 36 divided by 3 is 12. And since the hundredths label is already there, notice that that's going to go away really soon. Pretty soon your scaffolding is gone. So we end up with our answer that has unit form, and we're going to put it in standard form. And that is what that looks like. 3 ones, 12 hundredths. If there was any combination where we had to like add and regroup, we would do that, but they're separating it out nicely for us so that we can put these together very simply. Okay, or actually today is really all about dividing, so we're taking it apart. So we've got here 36 and 12 thousandths. So divided by 3, they want us to take out the ones, which is all 36 of them. Then we're going to take out the thousandths, which is everything that's left, and that happens to be 12. So now we're going to divide the 36 by 3 for this first part. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So that's where you get your 12 ones. Then we have our 12 thousandths. Remember, the label just comes right down. Watch out and read those. 12 divided by 3, 4. Put this together in standard form, and then watch out for those crossovers or renaming. But we have 12 ones. Then the 4 thousandths, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Be careful with your placement. Taking away a little scaffolding down here. That's okay, you're probably ready for it. So also note, we have 3 ones, 55 hundredths, but there is no ones, it's just the hundredths. So how many tenths are there? This is where you really have to prove your stuff. We're going to take the ones and the tenths and rename it into 35 tenths. Okay, remember you can do that. You can group them. It's like when we put the squeeze on the number in the little chart for the vertical number line. Put the squeeze on the number to that place value position. I'm going to take all my tenths, and I'll eventually divide that by 5 here. Okay, but I have to also combine what's left. So what is left? I just have those 5 hundredths that did not get included in the first part. And that's going to be your second step. So now we're going to take the 35 divided by 5 and get 7, but you have to label it with your place value unit. So it's 7 tenths. And then we're going to combine, just like we did on this second line with the plus, what the answer is to this division. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and the label for that unit. 100th, I don't have to put the S because it's singular. Now we're going to put our standard form. So 7 tenths plus 100th, 0 ones, 7 tenths, 100th. And that's your standard form answer. So now we don't even need that scaffolding. So we're going to go on with just blank lines. And you get to separate. So think about multiples of 5. Don't panic. Think about multiples of 5. We just did one of them. Notice that 35 is a multiple of 5. Not just the 3, but take the whole 35. And then 45 is a multiple of 5. Now let's focus on the place value positions where the last digit falls. So it's going to be 35 tenths, just like it was here. 5 is your divisor, so write it here. That's the first part. Now plus the second part, 45. What position? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Label it correctly. Thousandths. divided by 5, which is your still the divisor. Same divisor on all these because it's just a single digit. Now we're going to do two little solutions, okay, just like we did on the second line. 35 divided by 5, well, we know it's 7. We have tenths as our label, 7 tenths. To that, we're going to add the 45 thousandths divided by 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. Stick with your label. 7 tenths plus 9 thousandths. Think about your place value positions. No ones. 7 tenths. No hundredths, but 9 thousandths. So you have a 0 and 709 thousandths when you put it all together. So I hope that's making sense. Anyway, today we have 3 pages, so up to the top of the second. And we've got find the quotients for our directions here, then use words, numbers, or pictures to describe any relationships you notice between each pair of problems and quotients. So we're basically looking for the answer to a division problem. You have to know this word, quotient, so please know that. We're looking for quotients. That's the answer to a division problem. Then we're going to explain any relationships you notice between each pair of problems and quotients. Now, this and this look very similar, okay? So here we have 21 ones divided by 7 ones, and so we're going to get 3 ones. This is like third grade math. 21 divided by 7 is 3, and that was like the good old days when there weren't any decimals and it was so easy. But we're trying to draw this comparison. We're trying to show that it's really not that much harder. Just because we shifted it to be 21 tenths divided by 7 ones, we're still going to have 3. We just need to know where the decimal goes. So think about the fact that this 21 is 21 ones, and this 21 is 21 tenths. This one is 10 times greater. EATER. So this one should be what I would say 10 times less, but then it's supposed to be really 1/10 of. So if it's 1/10 of that, then it would be what? 3 tenths. 3 tenths. Okay, like this. It's 1/10 the value if we start out with tenths and we still have the same divisor. So we're going to have an answer that is the same digit, but 1/10 the value. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let's do this one. Look, 48 divided by 8, 48, different value, divided by 8. Still the same divisor though. So let's look at our dividend. Here we have 48 ones divided by 8. What times 8 is 48? 6 ones. So over here, I have 48 thousandths. So it's 48 thousandths divided by 8 ones. So my answer is going to be thousandths divided by ones is thousandths. Same digit, but thousandths. Because it's like 1,000 times smaller. So it's a 3-position shift. And standard form, you can see that, 0.006 for the 6 thousandths. So you're looking for a connection between the basic fact and the shift in place value. Okay? I hope that's helpful. Let's do this one. Do click subscribe. Come back again. Trying to help you guys out. I hope it's helping. Students, teachers, all of the above. Are the quotients below reasonable? Explain your answer. So when you think about if I have 54 hundredths divided by ones, divided by ones, whatever the number is, it should be what? Hundredths. THS. But what do I have? I have ones. So that does not seem reasonable. Okay, so no. It's like I don't even have an answer right now, and I'm just saying, no, that's not reasonable. This is too big. Okay, the 9 ones is too big. It's supposed to be hundredths. I know because this is very tiny. If I break 54 hundredths into 6 parts, I'm going to have something even tinier than that, not 9 whole things. Okay, that's way too big. 9 ones is way too big. Okay, let's try this one. If I have 54 tenths and I'm dividing by 6 ones and I end up with 9 tenths, does that seem reasonable? Look at the place value, unit form. Yes, tenths divided by ones is tenths. Yes, reasonable. Okay, because we're taking something that is has this unit form tenths, and when you use ones as your divisor, you will have the same place value unit that you started with. Okay, you'll see that in other lessons to come too. Here we have 54 ones divided by 6, and this is ones and ones. Therefore, my answer should be ones. This is way too small. T-O-O, small, way too small. It's like we're looking for the Goldilocks. We want the one that's just right, and this is just right. That is way too small. 9 in the hundredths place, very, very tiny. Now turn the page. You have 2 more questions on the back. Okay, we've got number 5 and number 6, so don't forget this page. It's like, this is where the fun begins. A toy airplane costs $4.84. The airplane, costs 4 times as much as a toy car. The toy airplane, make a tape diagram, is $4.84. Airplane. But this plane is 4 times as much as the toy car. The plane is 4 times the car. So what do you have to do with this number? Because I know a lot of students are going to go, ooh, 484, and it says 4 times. I'm going to multiply. Please don't. Just don't. Don't do it. Take the 484, and we have to divide it into 4 pieces. Divide the 484. $4.84 divided by 4. Now it kind of looks like what we were doing on the previous page. We can take the 4 and the 84, or the 48 and the 4. It's whatever you can deal with, or you can do single 4 and then 8 and then 4. So it's whatever way you want to solve by breaking up these place value positions. We could do the 4 ones, 8 tenths, 4 hundredths, 4 ones divided by 4, plus 8 tenths divided by 4, plus 4 hundredths divided by 4. And notice my sloppy abbreviation. You can do it too. Maybe yours will be neater. And then you're going to have your very easy answer. This 4 ones divided by 4 ones, that's going to be 1. And standard form, we'll get there in a minute. Then 8 tenths divided by 4 is what? 2. So easy. See, we're taking it apart. Plus, again, 4 divided by 4 is 1. So when you put your standard form back together, what is the cost of the toy car? We've taken it and we've broken this into 4 pieces to get the car costs $1.21. Okay, and so that's using this method that we just learned by splitting it out into unit form. Okay, how about the last one? Julian, hi Julian, bought 3 9/10 liters of cranberry juice, and Jay, hi Jay, bought 8 7/4 liters of apple juice. They mixed the 2 juices together and then poured them equally into 2 bottles. So they did 2 things. First, they mixed them together, and then they poured them equally, which is sharing, which is division, into 2 bottles. This is going to be step 2. Step 1, step 2. It's a 2-step. How many liters of juice are in each bottle? So 2 steps. Let's get started. we've got the liters, and also watch out. Sometimes they'll change the label, and this is very nicely just both liters, but sometimes they'll put milliliters, and then you have to convert before you do your addition. But this one is very nice. 3 9/10. Remember how to line up your decimals before you add. 8.74. Combine all the liters. This has a 0. You can leave it or leave it blank or put a 0. Add. 9 and 7 is 16. Carry the 1 decimal down. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 liters. 12.64 liters is how much they have together. Hopefully you got that right. Don't forget to regroup and carry and all that. Now we're going to take our 12 and 64 hundredths, and we have to split that into the 2. So how you can do this, again, you can take 12 and then 6 and 4. I wouldn't want to do 64 divided by 2 because then it's just double digits. So why not take the 12 ones divided by 2, and then we're going to take our 6/10ths and divide by 2, and then we're going to take our 4 hundredths and divide by 2. Okay, so we're splitting it out into easily solvable pieces. 12 ones divided by 2 ones, of course, is 6 ones. And to that, we will add our 6/10ths divided by 2 ones for 3/10ths. And 4 hundredths divided by 2 is 2 hundredths. And so we end up in standard form with a 6.3/10ths, 2 hundredths liters in each bottle. Don't you feel like a winner? Yay! All done. So thank you for watching the video, and come back again. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.